Welcome back to the TPC podcast. If you enjoy these deep dives, be sure to hit that subscribe button and like this episode. It really helps us out. Now, you sent in some fascinating material on manifestation, and it looks like we're going to try and unpack this whole idea of turning desires into reality.
Yeah, it's a concept that captures the imagination, that's for sure. And while it's easy to get caught up in the more mystical interpretations at its core, manifestation is really about understanding the connection between our thoughts, our energy, and our actions.
Okay, so less about magic wands and more about a sort of mental and emotional alchemy.
Exactly. Think of it like this. You have an architect who dreams up a skyscraper, but that vision only becomes concrete when those plans are translated into action. Every beam, every rivet, every detail brought to life through focused effort. Manifesting is about bringing that same level of intention and action to your desires.
So it's not just wishful thinking. It's about actively shaping your reality.
Precisely. It's about aligning your energy with what you want to experience and then taking inspired action to bring it into form.
That makes sense. But what exactly do we mean by aligning our energy? It sounds a bit esoteric.
You're right. It's a phrase that gets thrown around a lot. But think about it this way. Have you ever walked into a room and instantly felt the mood? Maybe it was tense, maybe it was joyful. That's energy. We emit it, we absorb it, and it influences our experiences.
Okay, so if we want to manifest something positive, we need to cultivate a positive energy within ourselves.
That's a big part of it. If your energy is all about lack and negativity, you're likely to attract more of the same. But if you can shift your vibration to one of abundance, gratitude, and excitement for what you're calling in, you'll start to see those things reflected in your reality.
It's almost like becoming a magnet for the things we want. But is there a specific way to shift our energy? Or is it just about thinking positive thoughts?
Positive thinking is a great starting point, but it goes deeper than that. Remember that architect we talked about? He doesn't just think about the skyscraper. He feels the excitement of seeing it rise, the satisfaction of overcoming challenges, the joy of creating something magnificent. That feeling is what you want to cultivate.
So it's about embodying the energy of what we want even before it's tangible.
Yes. Let's say you want to manifest a new job. Instead of just repeating affirmations, imagine yourself already in that role. How does it feel to be using your skills, contributing to a team, waking up each morning excited about your work? Tap into those feelings.
That's a really interesting way to think about it. It's not just about the outcome, but about the emotions and experiences we associate with that outcome.
Exactly. And speaking of experiences, there's a great story about Gabby Bernstein manifesting her interview with Oprah.
Oh, I've heard about this. Wasn't it something about writing it down?
Yes. She desperately wanted to be on Oprah's show and took that feeling of excitement and wrote down, "I am ready to be interviewed by Oprah," while truly embodying that feeling of being ready.
And then what happened?
She got the call the very next day.
Wow. That's a powerful example of aligning your energy with your desires. But is it always that easy?
It would be nice if it were, wouldn't it? But the truth is, there are definitely some do's and don'ts when it comes to manifesting. It's not a foolproof formula.
Okay, so let's dive into those. What's the first do we should keep in mind?
First and foremost, get crystal clear about what you want. What does your ideal life look like? What does it feel like? Don't be vague. Get specific.
So no more I want to be happy, and more I want to feel joyful and fulfilled in my career, surrounded by supportive colleagues.
Exactly. The more detailed your vision, the better.
Okay, specific and detailed vision, check. What about something we shouldn't do?
Don't get so fixated on the exact details that you miss out on the bigger picture. The universe might have a slightly different path in mind, one that leads to an even better outcome.
So it's like setting an intention, but being open to the universe's creative interpretation.
Precisely. Which brings us to another crucial do-it-outer. Trust that the universe has a plan. Sometimes what we think we want isn't actually the best path for us, even if it seems perfect in the moment.
That can be a hard one to wrap your head around, especially when we feel so certain about what we want.
It's a practice, for sure, which is why a big don't is trying to force things to happen on our timeline. Manifesting is about aligning with the energy of what we want and then trusting that the universe will orchestrate the details.
So surrender rather than control.
Yes, it's about letting go of the how and the when and simply trusting that it will all unfold in perfect timing.
Okay, I can see that would take some of the pressure off. But how do we actually put this into practice? What's a do that can help us navigate this whole allowing thing?
A great practice is what's called the spiritually aligned action method. Essentially, you're ensuring that your desire isn't just about personal gain, but also about how it can serve others.
So, for example, if you want a new job, it's not just about the bigger paycheck, but about how you can use your skills to make a positive impact in that role.
Exactly. Maybe it's about leading a team with compassion, creating a product that improves people's lives, or simply bringing more joy and kindness to your workplace.
So it's about aligning your goals with a sense of purpose beyond yourself.
Precisely. And that's incredibly powerful when it comes to manifesting.
It sounds like this spiritually aligned action method is a great way to keep our ego in check. Are there any other don'ts we should be aware of?
A big one is limiting your manifesting to specific times or places. It shouldn't be something you just do for 5 minutes before bed and then forget about.
So it's not like saying affirmations in the mirror and calling it a day.
Exactly. It's about integrating this mindset into every aspect of your life. Being present, being grateful, and feeling the energy of your desires in every moment.
So it's about creating a way of being, a state of alignment, rather than just a set of actions to check off a list.
You got it. It's about making manifestation a natural part of who you are.
This is all starting to make so much sense. But it also sounds like it takes a lot of work. Is there a way to make manifesting more, well, effortless?
That's a great question, and it leads us to one of the most powerful aspects of manifesting, the power of feeling good.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Feeling good literally raises your vibration and makes you a magnet for those incredible things you want to experience. It's about finding joy in the present moment and focusing on activities that light you up and make you feel connected to yourself.
So it's not about grinding and forcing things to happen. It's about enjoying the journey.
Exactly. It's about infusing your life with things that make you feel alive, vibrant, and grateful to be here.
That sounds much more enjoyable than constantly stressing about what hasn't manifested yet. But it can be hard to maintain that positive energy when life throws us curveballs. Any tips for weathering those storms?
Remaining calm and letting go of resistance is key. Even when things aren't going your way, trust that the universe has a plan, and it's all unfolding in perfect timing.
It's like trusting that even the storms will pass, and they often bring growth and transformation.
You got it. And sometimes those storms are what lead us to an even more beautiful destination than we initially imagined.
That's a beautiful way to think about it. So we've talked about aligning our energy, feeling good, and trusting the process. But what about those pesky internal barriers we all have? How do we break through those limiting beliefs and self-sabotaging behaviors that can hold us back from manifesting our dreams?
Ah, yes, the internal battles. Those can be tricky. But the first step is awareness. We have to become aware of those blocks, the limiting beliefs, the fears, those nasty voices in our heads that tell us we're not good enough or deserving.
It's like we have to become detectives of our own minds, uncovering those hidden beliefs that are holding us back.
Exactly. Once we're aware of them, we can start to challenge them. Ask yourself, is this belief really true? Is it serving me? Or is it just an old story I've been carrying around for far too long?
And then start replacing those negative thoughts with more empowering ones.
You got it. Practice self-acceptance and forgiveness to release the weight of the past. Remind yourself that you are worthy, capable, and deserving of all the good things you desire.
I love that. It's like giving ourselves permission to manifest our dreams by believing in our own worthiness.
Yeah.
But what about patience? How do we stay patient when it feels like our manifestations are taking forever?
Patience is an active practice. It's about using the waiting time to grow, learn, and prepare for the manifestation of your desires. It's about trusting that everything is unfolding as it should, and that the universe will deliver at the perfect time.
Easier said than done, right? But I get it. It's about trusting the timing, knowing that things are happening behind the scenes that we may not be aware of.
Exactly. Sometimes the universe is working on things we can't even see yet. And that's okay. In fact, it's all part of the magic.
I like that perspective. It's like the universe is cooking up something amazing for us, and we just have to be patient and trust the chef. But what about when that patience wears thin and we start to feel discouraged? How do we deal with those moments of doubt?
That's where it's important to remember that the journey is just as important as the destination. The process of manifesting is about growth, expansion, and self-discovery. It's about becoming the best version of ourselves so that we're ready to receive those desires when they manifest.
So it's about using that waiting time to work on ourselves, to cultivate those qualities and beliefs that will support our dreams.
Exactly. It's about becoming a vibrational match to what we want, not just in terms of our desires, but in terms of our character, our mindset, and our overall energy.
That's a powerful reminder. It's not just about getting what we want. It's about becoming the person we need to be to receive it.
Precisely. And that journey of self-discovery is often where the real magic happens.
This has been so insightful. But before we wrap up part one, I want to touch on one more thing. Rejection. It feels like a natural part of life. But how do we approach it through the lens of manifestation? Is it a sign that we're doing something wrong, or is there a different way to view it?
That's such an important question, and it's one that often causes a lot of confusion and self-doubt.
Because it can feel like a direct no from the universe. Like our desires are being rejected.
I understand why it feels that way, but I think there's a more empowering perspective to consider. Rejection isn't necessarily a sign that you're doing something wrong, or that you're not worthy of what you desire.
So it's not a failure.
Yeah.
But if it's not a failure, then what is it?
Think of it as a redirection. Sometimes the universe has a different path in mind for you, one that you might not have even considered.
It's like closing one door to open a better one.
Exactly. Embrace rejection as a redirection towards something better, a chance to learn and grow. Sometimes those rejections are what lead us to opportunities and experiences that are even more aligned with our soul's purpose.
That's a powerful way to reframe rejection. It's not a dead end, it's a detour that might lead us to an even more amazing destination.
And remember, even in those moments of disappointment, you always have the power to choose your response. Choose to see the good, choose to trust the process, and choose to keep moving forward with an open heart and a belief in your dreams.
This is all so inspiring. We've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive into manifestation, from aligning our energy and feeling good to embracing rejection as a redirection. But before we jump into part two, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
What stands out to you the most about this concept of manifestation? What resonates with you the most?
For me, it's the reminder that we are not just passive observers in our lives. We are powerful creators, and we have the ability to shape our reality through our thoughts, beliefs, and actions. It's about reclaiming our power and stepping into our full potential.
I love that. It's so empowering. And for me, it's the emphasis on feeling good and finding joy in the present moment. It's a reminder that the journey is just as important as the destination, and that happiness is a choice we can make right now, no matter what our circumstances may be.
Beautifully said. It's about embracing the journey, trusting the process, and knowing that everything is unfolding in perfect timing.
So as we wrap up part one, I'd like to leave our listeners with a question to ponder. If you could manifest anything in your life right now, what would it be? What feeling would you like to experience? What reality would you like to create?
I invite our listeners to take some time to really reflect on that question. Connect with your heart, tap into your deepest desires, and allow yourself to dream big. Because when you align yourself with the energy of your dreams, anything is possible.
Beautifully said. And remember, the universe is always listening. So let's make our desires known, take inspired action, and trust in the magic of manifestation. We'll be back soon with part two of our deep dive, where we'll explore even more powerful tools and techniques for turning your dreams into reality. Until then, keep those vibes high and those intentions clear. See you next time.
We left off talking about the power of feeling good and finding joy in the present moment as a key part of manifestation.
And I'm curious to explore that further because it sounds a bit paradoxical.
Oh.
Well, if we're focused on feeling good in the now, are you not taking our attention away from the things we want to manifest in the future?
That's a great question, and it gets to the heart of how energy works in manifestation. It's not about ignoring your desires or pretending they don't matter. It's about recognizing that the energy you embody in the present moment is what shapes your future.
So if I'm feeling stressed and anxious about not having something, I'm actually pushing it further away.
Precisely. You're putting out a vibration of lack, which attracts more lack. But when you choose to focus on feeling good, even if your current circumstances aren't ideal, you're shifting your energy to one of abundance and possibility.
That makes sense. But how do we actually cultivate those good vibes, especially when life feels challenging?
It starts with awareness. Becoming aware of the thoughts we're thinking, the words we're using, and the energy we're putting out into the world. Are our thoughts dominated by fear, worry, and negativity? Or are we choosing to focus on things that uplift us, inspire us, and bring us joy?
So it's like we have to become detectives of our own thoughts and emotions, noticing those patterns that might be holding us back.
Exactly. We have to pay attention to the stories we're telling ourselves and the beliefs we're holding on to. Once we're aware of those patterns, we can start to consciously choose something different.
So if I catch myself spiraling into worries, I can consciously choose to focus on something more positive.
Absolutely. It doesn't mean the negative feelings disappear, but it's about shifting your focus, even if it's just for a few moments. Think about things that genuinely make you feel good. Spending time in nature, listening to your favorite music, connecting with loved ones, creating something, moving your body.
Those all sound great, but what about those times when it's really hard to find something to feel good about? Like, what if I'm facing a major setback or going through a difficult time?
That's where the practice of gratitude comes in. Even in the midst of challenging circumstances, there's always something to be grateful for.
But isn't it a bit like putting on rose-colored glasses, ignoring the reality of a tough situation?
It's not about denying the challenges, but rather about choosing to focus on the good that still exists no matter how small. Maybe you're grateful for the roof over your head, the support of a friend, or even just the simple fact that you're alive and breathing.
I can see how focusing on those small things could shift your perspective, even if just a little bit.
It's a powerful practice, and one of the simplest ways to cultivate gratitude is to keep a gratitude journal.
I've heard about those but never tried it. What's the benefit?
It's about training your mind to notice and appreciate the good things in your life, even when things feel tough. Every day, simply write down a few things you're grateful for. It could be something as basic as a delicious meal, a sunny day, or a good laugh.
It sounds simple enough, but do you think it really makes a difference?
It can make a huge difference. When you consistently focus on the good, it rewires your brain to be more attuned to positivity. And as you cultivate that sense of gratitude, you raise your vibration, which makes you more magnetic to the things you want to manifest.
It's like we're training ourselves to see the world through a more abundant and appreciative lens.
Exactly. And that shift in perspective is what allows you to attract more good things into your life.
Okay, so we're cultivating gratitude, feeling good, and taking inspired action towards our goals. But what about those times when we feel stuck, like nothing is moving forward?
That's where the power of letting go comes in. This can be one of the most challenging yet liberating aspects of manifestation.
I can see how it would be challenging. We're often told to visualize our desires with intensity to hold on to that vision.
And that's certainly an important part of the process, but sometimes that intense focus and attachment can actually create resistance. It's like we're trying to micromanage the universe and force things to happen on our timeline.
So it's more about surrendering to the process, trusting that the universe knows what it's doing.
Exactly. Letting go doesn't mean giving up on your dreams. It means releasing your attachment to the how and the when, and simply trusting that the universe has a plan that's unfolding perfectly, even if you can't see the full picture yet.
But surrender can be so difficult, especially when we really, really want something. Any tips on how to actually let go?
One powerful technique is to visualize handing your desire over to the universe. Imagine writing it down on a piece of paper, putting it in a beautiful box, and then releasing that box, maybe even picturing it floating away into the cosmos.
And what does that do?
It's a symbolic act that helps you release your grip and trust that the universe is taking care of it. You're essentially saying, okay, universe, I've done my part, now it's your turn.
I can see how that would be freeing. But what if we've done all the visualizing, affirming, letting go, and we're still waiting? What if it feels like our desires are taking forever to manifest?
Then we need to practice patience. Remember, the universe operates on its own timeline. Sometimes things take longer than we expect, and that's okay.
But how do we stay patient when it feels like we're constantly waiting and wondering when things will finally shift?
One helpful practice is to focus on the present moment. Rather than dwelling on the past or worrying about the future, fully immerse yourself in the now. Find joy in the simple things, appreciate the beauty around you, and engage in activities that make you feel alive.
So it's not about ignoring our desires, but about finding contentment and fulfillment in the present moment, regardless of whether those desires have manifested yet.
Exactly. When you're truly present and grateful for what you have, the waiting doesn't feel so agonizing. You're not desperate for your desires to manifest because you're already experiencing joy and fulfillment in the now.
That's a powerful reminder. It's like we're shifting from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset.
Precisely. And when you embody that sense of abundance and trust in the process, you become much more aligned with the energy of what you want to create.
This is all so insightful. But before we move on, I'm curious about something. We've talked a lot about manifesting things for ourselves, but what about situations that involve other people? Can we really manifest something that requires another person to cooperate?
That's a great question, and it leads us to some of the more nuanced aspects of manifestation.
Because we can't control other people's thoughts, feelings, and actions.
Exactly. You can't force someone to love you, give you a job, or do anything that goes against their own free will.
So does that mean we can't manifest things like relationships or career opportunities that involve other people?
Not necessarily. It just means we need to be mindful of how we approach those desires. Instead of trying to control the outcome or manipulate someone into doing what we want, we focus on aligning ourselves with the energy of what we desire.
So, for example, if I want to manifest a romantic relationship,
Instead of focusing on a specific person or trying to force a connection, you'd focus on cultivating the energy of love within yourself. You'd work on your own self-love, your own openness to connection, and your own belief in your worthiness of love.
and by embodying that energy of love, I'd become more magnetic to people who are also vibrating at that frequency.
Exactly. And the universe will do its thing, orchestrating the perfect connections and bringing the right people into your life at the perfect time.
So it's about trusting that the universe knows how to connect the dots, even if we don't have all the pieces figured out.
Precisely. And it's the same principle for career opportunities or any other desire that involves other people. Instead of trying to control the specific outcome, you focus on aligning yourself with the energy of what you want to experience.
So if I want to manifest a promotion, I wouldn't focus on manipulating my boss or competing with colleagues.
Exactly. You'd focus on developing your skills, exceeding expectations, and embodying the energy of success and leadership. You'd trust that the right opportunities would present themselves when the time is right.
This is all making so much more sense now. It's not about trying to force the universe's hand, but about aligning ourselves with the energy of what we want and then trusting that the universe will orchestrate the details.
You've got it. It's about co-creation, partnership, and surrender. And it's about recognizing that the journey itself is a vital part of the manifestation process.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation. We've covered so much ground, from cultivating gratitude and feeling good to the power of letting go and trusting in divine timing. But before we wrap up part 2, I want to leave our listeners with a question to ponder. Think about a desire you've been holding on to, maybe something you've been trying to manifest for a while. What would it look like to approach that desire from a place of surrender and trust rather than control?
I encourage our listeners to really sit with that question and allow themselves to explore what it feels like to release the need to micromanage the process and instead embrace the journey with an open heart and a sense of wonder. Because sometimes the most magical manifestations happen when we least expect them.
That's a beautiful reminder. We'll be back soon with part 3 of our deep dive into manifestation, where we'll explore even more powerful tools and techniques for turning your dreams into reality. Until then, keep those vibes high and those intentions clear. Welcome back to part 3 of our deep dives into manifestation. It's been an incredible journey so far, exploring everything from the power of our thoughts and energy to the importance of letting go and trusting the process.
And in this final part, I'd love to dive into one of the most fundamental yet often overlooked aspects of manifestation: the power of language.
That's interesting. We've talked about aligning our energy and taking inspired action, but we haven't really touched on how our words play into all of this.
It's such a crucial piece of the puzzle. The language we use, both the words we speak aloud and the thoughts we think silently, has a profound impact on our reality.
So it's not just about what we say to others, but also about the way we talk to ourselves.
Exactly. Our self-talk is incredibly powerful. The stories we tell ourselves, the beliefs we reinforce, and the words we use to describe ourselves all contribute to the energy we put out into the world.
So if I'm constantly putting myself down or focusing on my flaws, I'm actually reinforcing those negative patterns and making it harder to manifest what I want.
Precisely. You're essentially sending a message to the universe that you're not worthy or capable of receiving those desires.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So how do we shift that? How do we use language more consciously to support our manifestation journey?
It starts with becoming aware of your self-talk patterns. Pay attention to the words you use to describe yourself, your life, and your experiences. Are they mostly positive and empowering, or are they filled with negativity and self-doubt?
And once we're aware of those patterns, we can start to consciously choose different words and phrases that are more aligned with what we want to create.
Exactly. It's about replacing those negative self-talk scripts with affirmations that build your confidence and self-belief.
So instead of saying, I'm so bad at this, I could say, I'm learning and growing every day.
Exactly. Or instead of saying, I'll never find love, you could say, I'm open to love and I believe in my worthiness of a loving relationship.
It's like we're reprogramming our minds with the language we use.
Precisely. Every word we speak and think carries a vibration and energy that shapes our reality.
So if we want to manifest a reality filled with love, abundance, and joy, We need to start speaking and thinking in ways that reflect those qualities.
Exactly. It's about becoming more conscious of the words we choose and using them to create a more positive and empowering inner dialogue.
This is so powerful. It's like we have this incredible tool at our disposal that we often take for granted. But how do we make this a consistent practice? It's easy to slip back into negative self-talk, especially when we're feeling stressed or discouraged.
One helpful practice is to create a list of affirmations that resonate with you, and then repeat them regularly throughout the day. You can write them down in a journal, put them on sticky notes around your house, or even set reminders on your phone.
So it's about surrounding ourselves with positive and empowering language as a way to retrain our minds and shift our vibration.
Exactly. And as you do this, you'll start to notice a shift in your energy, your self-belief, and your overall outlook on life.
This has been such an incredible conversation. We've explored so many facets of manifestation, from the power of our thoughts and feelings to the importance of letting go and trusting the universe. And now, as we wrap up our deep dive, I'd love to leave our listeners with one final thought to ponder. What if the true magic of manifestation lies not just in receiving what we desire, but in the transformative journey it takes us on?
What a beautiful reflection. The journey of manifestation is ultimately a journey of self-discovery, growth, and expansion. It's about aligning ourselves with our highest potential and becoming the most vibrant, authentic versions of ourselves. And as we embark on this journey with an open heart, a clear mind, and a deep trust in the universe, we open ourselves up to a world of infinite possibilities.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into manifestation. We hope it sparked a sense of wonder and empowerment within you and inspired you to explore the incredible power you hold to create a life you truly love.
It's been a joy sharing this exploration with you.
And remember, dear listeners, the universe is always listening. So let's make our desires known, take inspired action, and trust in the magic of manifestation. Until next time, keep those vibes high and those intentions clear.